Hello, welcome to today's video. It's a little different than my normal videos, as you can see. We will be looking at my 7th sketchbook, so I'm going to be giving you a tour of all of the drawings in here. I've been working on this sketchbook for about 2 years, I think, and I'm very excited to share what is in here. Right off the bat, we have some Mandalorian drawings. I think this is around the time when Season 2 had just come out, and so I was feeling very inspired to do some drawings for that. I particularly like this one. As you can see, these drawings have a little bit less quality than the newer stuff that I've been doing, and I think that's just shows the improvement that has happened over the past 2 years. Here we have the nativity scene. I did this the night of Christmas Eve, and it was after I watched a movie about the story of Jesus' birth. I forget what the name of the movie is. I will link it when I find out. But I really had a lot of fun just kind of doing it for fun and not really spending too much time on it. And this drawing here is a redraw of a very old picture of a polar bear that I did with my left hand. It was very hard to accomplish with my left hand because I draw with my right hand. But I really like how this redraw turned out. I was kind of surprised that I could keep the lines so clean even though I was using my left hand. But I really like how it turned out. Here we have an Animal Crossing spread. I really enjoyed the game. I was actually surprised how much I liked it. I loved, I think his name is Poncho. I haven't played it in a while, so I don't remember. But I really liked him. He's my favorite villager. And here we have a little comic I did. I thought it was funny that you put everything in your pocket, so I thought it'd be funny to draw a comic about how disgusting your pocket would look like in reality if you put everything in there. Anyway, I also really like how this one turned out. I don't know, something about how the greens go well together in the pose. I thought it turned out very nice. Here we have a National Treasure spread. I love this movie. I wouldn't say it's my favorite movie, but it's definitely the top 10 or something. Not exactly completely accurate as far as faces go, but I really like how the yellow paper on this one turned out with the sketches, and I really like this one. Here we have a Thor Ragnarok spread. A lot of the drawings in this sketchbook are fan art, not a ton of original art per se, but I really like the drawings on this one, especially this one. This is probably my favorite of the whole thing. Some of them are a little, not exactly the prettiest as far as faces, especially this one. It's not the best, but I really like these two in particular. I really enjoyed doing, and I also like how the wolf on this one turned out. Here we have some Oscar drawings. If you've seen the other videos on my channel, you'll know that I have a cat named Oscar, and he is the funniest cat I've ever known. I've had him for about 5 years now, and boy, he just makes me laugh every day. He's the greatest. So here I have some sketches of him with a reference, and these two are without reference, and then also some cartoon versions of him. And then I have some more cartoon drawings of him, you know, just him doing his goofy stuff. This was a picture of him sleeping in the sun, and it was so adorable, I just had to draw it. And then we have some funny cartoon ones, and then another comic. This one is whenever I'm drawing, he always wants to sit on my drawing, which is not fun. And then whenever I have cereal, he always wants the milk, and even though I don't want to give it to him, I end up giving it to him in the end anyway. Pride and Prejudice, probably my all-time favorite movie. I love it so much, and I really like how most of these drawings turned out, especially this one. I also really like this one. I don't know, something about the poses and the way the lines turned out makes me really like it. And then we kind of have a rushed colored one down here. It's definitely not the best of the spread, but I still like it. And we have some more. I really like this one. Then we have a scanned image of a painting I did of the movie. I really liked that shot in the movie, and I really wanted to paint it, and I think it turned out really good. I love how the water especially turned out. This is right after I had watched Ant-Man for the first time. I really liked the movie, and I love how this sketch turned out. Some of the other things are a little bit proportionally off in my opinion, but I just had to draw some Ant-Mans. There were these 4 ravens that would come every sunset, and I thought it was so neat that I got to see them every day. So I thought it would be cool and fun to just have some study sketches of ravens, and I think they turned out really nicely, especially with the gray shading. This is my Loki spread. It's probably one of my favorite parts in this sketchbook. I really like how the two greens go together. Some of these sketches I'm not exactly the fondest of, but there are some I really, really like. This one's definitely my favorite, I would say. I also like how this painted one turned out. This is probably the first time I've ever tried doing faces with paint, and I really like how it turned out. I also like some of these smaller sketches that you see here. A very different topic compared to the spread we were just on last time, but this is definitely the most important spread in this book. I even wrote it here so that anyone looking through this would see it. If you don't know the story of Jesus, he is God's son, and he sent him down on earth to die for our sins so that if we believe in him and repent of our sins, we could forever be with him in heaven. And I was really moved when I was reading the story again in the Bible, and I really wanted to illustrate the images in my head. And I really like how these two turned out. And also the red with the gray turned out pretty good in my opinion. This is not exactly something I want to take lightly because it's the most important story anyone could ever tell you. If you want to read the story from the Bible, I'll have a link below to the verses in the Bible that tell the story of the crucifixion. But anyway, I really like how this all turned out. Here we have some Infinity War drawings. I love this drawing. This is my favorite one. I had this in my head for so long and I finally got to draw it, and I love how it turned out. It's pretty much exactly how I pictured it, and I just love the look of this pen with the colored pencil. I like these two. Some of them aren't my favorite, especially these. I don't know, the faces just look a little strange to me. But I do like this drawing and then this Wanda one. I think they turned out really nice on this side. Here's a bit of a random page section in the sketchbook. Here we have some bunnies, very Peter Rabbit inspired. This one actually is a bunny that I used to have a long time ago. His name was Honey, and I really wanted to draw him with a yellow coat on. I think it turned out really nice. And then we have some other random sketches. Here's some hand and arm sketches. And if you couldn't tell what this is Spider-Man, or more specifically, Miles Morales. It's kind of hard to see because everything's super dark, but this is his head and his torso, if you couldn't tell. I had watched the Godzilla and Kong Skull Island, and I just had to draw from those movies. I thought they were really, really good, and they did a good job of creeping me out. I really like these two sketches. I think they turned out really nice on the page, and I like the blue and red Kong here. I also like how this one turned out. This is one of the shots from the movie. If you can't tell, this is another Kong drawing, and he's fighting one of the skull crawlers, I think they're called. And then on this side we have some drawings of sea creatures that I saw while I was in North Carolina, I think is where I was when I was drawing these. These are all the creatures I saw while I was there. Not exactly too much detail on these. These are some drawings and expression studies I was trying to do. This is actually for an animation that I've been working on. I haven't worked on it in so long that I've kind of forgotten about it and putting it off. But hopefully sometime I will get back into it, and then the animation will be up on my YouTube channel, so keep an eye out for that when it does come. This is where my Inktober's start. If you don't know what Inktober is, it's a thing where artists will have a prompt list for the month of October, and each day it's a different theme. I did this back in 2021, and the theme was crystal. I like how the different colors turned out, and the lighting's a bit strange on the character, but I do really like how the whole thing looks. The next theme was suit. I really like how the look of this one came out. It's a very brown color palette, but I really like how it turned out, and I had a ton of fun doing this pose in the mirror. I had fun doing all the little accessories here and on the jacket, and I really had fun doing all the smudges on the glass of the mirror. The theme was vessel for this one. This was not exactly the most fun one because everything had to be perfect lines, but I do like how the colors turned out on this one. This is probably one of the more boring ones in the Inktober series. The theme was knot, so I just decided to do some ropes that are knotted together. The theme was raven, and of course I had to do a raven since I'd done some already. I really like how the pinks and blues on this one turned out. The theme was spirit. I kind of had a hard time thinking of one for this, but I do like how the silhouette on this one turned out, and I like the yellow theme going on. Ooh, okay, so this one's definitely probably my favorite out of the whole series for 2021. I really like how the poses and expressions on this one turned out, especially on him. I also really like how the moonlight turned out on these characters. It was so much fun to draw on there. The theme for this one was watch, so I did the Watcher from What If you've ever seen that show, because I literally couldn't think of anything else to do, so I decided to do him. So this one's not exactly my favorite as far as faces go. I had some smudging here from the ink. I don't really know how that happened. But the theme is like a pressure on a test. I know I get that a lot. Then we have pick. Again, not a very well done one. I didn't spend too much time on this one. I do like how the designs on these turned out though. I really like how they look. Another rushed one. I didn't have a lot of time that day, I think. But the theme was sour, so I thought of a kid just eating a lemon, not knowing that they are horribly sour. The theme was stuck for this one, so I thought of gum stuck in the hair. I thought that would be a horrible situation to be in, and clearly that's probably the expression everybody would make. Her jaw's a bit far back from the nose than I'd like it to be, but I do like how some of the colors turned out. This was probably one of my least favorite ones to do. I absolutely hate ticks. They're disgusting, and I hated every second of drawing this one. I did have fun with the hair shading on this one, but I did not like drawing that tick. That was not fun. The theme was helmet. This was supposed to be a knight helmet, and it didn't quite turn out like that. It ended up looking something like Star Wars, which is not what I intended, but I think it's okay for what it is. Pretty boring one, compass. I think I was running out of creative juices that day, so I just went with a plain hand holding a compass. This is actually a compass I have, and I use my hand as reference. The theme was collide. I really had a lot of fun with the colors in this one and the poses and expressions. I kind of went crazy on here, and some of the proportions are a bit off. But I really like how the motions turned out in this one, and I also had fun with the background. Then we have moon. That was the theme, and I love how the coloring and lighting on this one turned out. I had so much fun doing the little hairs. And I really like how the white light on the fur turned out. This is probably my least favorite out of all of them. I don't know, some of the line art turned out a bit strange, and also the colors looked a bit weird, but it's supposed to be a rose sprouting for the theme. It's not horrible, but it's not my favorite. Here we have my bird again for the theme fuzzy. In the animation, a little bit of a spoiler for you, he kind of hates that he's fuzzy and he's constantly trying to keep it down. So I thought it'd be funny to draw him for that theme. The theme was open, so I thought of a light up sign. You're supposed to be able to tell that it's on glass, but it's kind of hard to see the background here. You can see a little bit more clearly on the back here of the street and the windows and all that stuff. Word of the day for this was leak, and I had so much fun doing the water droplets that are splashing on him, and I also had fun making the cat look absolutely terrified of what's happening. And I also like how the look of the basement turned out. The yellow light's a bit harsh, but I do think it turned out nice. The theme for this one was extinct. If you can tell what this is, let me know in the comments of what you think this drawing is. You might have already recognized it right away, but I'm not going to say what it is and see if you guys can guess. Splat. That was the word for this one. I had literally no ideas, so I just went with a colorful splat. The theme was connect, and I thought of connecting wires. I really like how the look and lighting on this one turned out. Thinking of the people who work behind stages for plays and such, connecting wires is a very important job. I really like this one too. This one, the theme was spark. And so I thought of sparklers. So I had fun doing all the little bits of fire that shoot out from the sparkler. I was so hungry when I saw the reference picture for this one. They're supposed to be chicken tenders. I had fun doing a more realistic approach to this drawing, but boy, did I really want to eat those chicken tenders when I looked at that picture. The theme was patch, so I thought of someone sewing a patch onto clothes. I like how the room in this one turned out. It feels like a real craft room that someone would use. And I also like how all the colors turned out. The theme for this one was slither, so naturally I thought of a snake. The lighting kind of turned out a bit weird, so if you're wondering how it all works, then yeah, I know, it's a weird lighting scenario. I really like the colors on this snake. That's what stood out to me the most, and that's why I really wanted to draw it. And then the last one for the Inktober is Risk. If you couldn't tell, this is supposed to be a bear chasing him, but it's a little hard to spot. But I did enjoy putting the pinks and highlights on this one. Now we're back to normal drawings. We have some drawings that I glued in here. I really think these are so funny. This was kind of supposed to be a fun little sketch, and then I love how it turned out so much that I decided to color it and put it in my sketchbook. So we have 2 Grogus here and then just a random dragon design. Here we have some more expression studies for my bird character, and I really like how this one turned out, and I also like how this one turned out. This is a character that I made up, some sort of wizard person. I don't really know the backstory of this character, but I really like how this sketch turned out. It's kind of more simple than these ones, but I do like the pose in this one. We were talking about the Christmas story at my church a while ago, and so I decided to draw what we were talking about, and I loved it how it turned out so much that I decided to take it from the paper I was using and glue it into my sketchbook. Here we have some Spider-Man drawings. This was just after I'd seen the first 2 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. I really like how this one turned out, and I like these 2 red pencil sketches. And then I have some more on this side. They're more realistic drawings. I love this one. It's probably my favorite of the whole spread. And then on the back we have another one. And I was trying to use some cheap pencils to blend. It didn't really work how I wanted it to, but overall I like how the poses turned out. And here again we have the polar bear. I did a redraw again. I do it at the same time every year, if you're wondering why I have 2 in this book. I'm really happy to have seen the improvement from this drawing to this drawing. Here we have a giant eye, and I really had a lot of fun adding the details to the eye. Here we have all 3 Spider-Man. This is after I went to see No Way Home, and I loved that movie so much, so I decided to draw the 3 of them. And then we have a drawing of Oscar and Ella. These are some deer study sketches I was doing. I had so much fun looking at the bodies of deer and drawing them. I particularly like these 2 sketches here. I think they turned out really good. The references I got for this spread was actually from this book that I have. It's The Art of Animal Drawing by Ken Holtgren. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But it's basically just how to draw certain animals' movements and just the deconstruction of how the animal bodies work. I absolutely loved how they drew these illustrations, and they were showing you how to do caricature drawings of them. I would definitely recommend any artist who's watching to get a copy of this and look through it. It's really a fantastic book. Then I did some lion and tiger study sketches, not as many as the other one. This one's probably my favorite. I think the pose on this one turned out pretty good. I was having so much fun making the tigers and lions feel very big and bulky, especially in the shoulders. I mean, tigers' shoulders are huge. So I had a fun time drawing the anatomy of them. Then some horse sketches, very similar to the deer. So I felt a little bit more comfortable doing horses than when I was doing the deer at first. Here we have some hand drawings. I really like how these 2 turned out. I really like those hand poses, and I wanted to learn how to do them. I love, honestly, how all of these hands turned out, like this fist one. I had so much fun studying the hands and then drawing them. I think they all turned out really, really good. These are some warm-up sketches that were helping me prepare for a painting that I did of the Temptation of Jesus. I had a lot of fun playing around with different expressions and poses in these drawings, and then just some notes to be ready for when I was going to do my painting. This is an original character that I came up with. She has no name yet. If you want to suggest any, feel free to in the comments. I really like how these two drawings turned out. I'm not very good at creating original characters, but I really like how this original character turned out. Oh, so this is me just playing around with expressions of Oscar and Ella. Some of these faces they actually make in real life. I'm not even joking. Like, Oscar makes this face half the time, and Ella's always making this face. And I had a lot of fun playing around with the expressions for these drawings. This is kind of a random section again. I have a Pokemon card, a random animal thing that I made up, and then this is a really old character that I came up with. It's a chocolate lab, and then this is a little cat bird. Then we have some warm-up bird sketches, just me figuring them out a little bit more before I was going to animate. I went to visit New York, and they had this beautiful lake, and so I decided to draw one of the lifeguard stands. And then these are just some drawings of random people that were at the lake that day, and I really like how all of these turned out. Here we have some Mario drawings, kind of in a more exaggerated style. I like the pose on this one, and I like how his face turned out. And if you're wondering, I made a big mistake on this page, so I decided to paint over it, and then I added that little goofy drawing of me saying there's nothing there. Oh, so this page, I had just gotten some new washi tape, and I loved the look on some of them, so I decided to do a few drawings and then just tape them in with the new tape. And then I was coming up with some expressions or character designs from my head. I really like this one and this one. They're probably my favorites on this page. And I also had a lot of fun adding the washi tape around the characters. Here's some cat drawings with a colored pencil. And then this is just another random character I came up with from my head. Something about this pose is a little strange to me, but I really like these two drawings, and I think the tape helps give some life to this spread. Oh, so this is my set of Inktober drawings from this year. I'm not going to show you them though, because I have them all posted on my Instagram. If you want to see them, then feel free to go check them out. But you know what, I'll give you a preview of a few of them. The theme for this one was gargoyle, and gargoyles are very creepy, so I kind of went with that with these drawings. I think this is my favorite of the sketches over here. And then I had fun painting this one on the page. Oh, nope, you can't see it. If you want to see it, you have to go to my Instagram. So for the theme for this one, I thought I should do a cat scraping the curtains. I really like how the cat's expression on this one turned out. And I had a blast putting the washi tape in to look like wallpaper. It was very tedious to put it in these scratch marks, but I think overall it turned out fantastic. This is the last one from the Inktober series I'll show you. I loved doing the shading on the barn, and I loved doing all the colors. I think they contrast very nice. I used a very fine ink pen, so it's a little hard to see the line art, but overall I think this one turned out really good. And that's the end of the sketchbook. I did a little fun doodle here congratulating the person who reads this book. I had fun doing the different dance poses for Oscar and Ella and then me. And then here we have another one that says see you in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate the support on this channel all so far, even though it's very small. For example, I have a video out that has gotten over 4,000 views. It's absolutely insane how many views that got over the span of about a month. I really appreciate the support from all of you. I'm currently working on my next sketchbook, and if you want to see a sketchbook tour of that, like this video and tell me that you do want to see it. A link to my Instagram and the other things I talked about will be in the description. Thank you again so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!